we talk about the Liverpool rebuild. And I know we're in the midst of a title race right now. We got one hand on the trophy. We're looking at UEFA Champions League. We're looking at Carabao Cup. We're in the final. I'm seeing a lot of transfer rumors, and I want to talk about who I think would be a good fit for this Liverpool side moving forward, who I think FSG is going to end up picking, and then who I think we all dream of having in our side. Who's coming, who's going, and then I want to hear your guys' voice. I want to hear what you guys think. Who are ideal picks for us? Who do you think we're gonna have, and who would be your dream signing in this? And while you're down there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's jump right into the video. These are my picks. Let's talk about my picks real quick. Okay. Gerald Hato. I think Gerald Hato is a special talent, man. I think he is very, very good. Can play in every position. He's like that Urian Timber. He's like that Quentin Timber type of mold at Ajax, or even a Ryan Gravenberch to a degree, right? With that Ajax education where it's total football, where you can drop them pretty much anywhere. We've seen that with Ryan Gravenberch, where he can play as a DM, he can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, and he can also play as a center back. And I think Gerald Hato ticks a lot of boxes for Liverpool, which I think is why he's been heavily scouted and he's heavily linked with this Liverpool side. So I love the way that he progresses the ball. I love his speed. He's one of the fastest players in the Eredivisie right now. He is one to look out for. My second pick is Dean Howson. He's one that I've been looking out for a while, even when he was at Juventus and then his stint at Roma. He is a breakout star this season for Bournemouth. Everything that you would want in a center back: cool, calm, collected, imperious in the air, and is almost like a mini VVD. Would be a perfect heir to the throne. My third pick would be Jonathan David. I think he's been on a tear this season, one of the best performing forwards in all of Europe. And I think he gets overlooked a little bit for being in the French league, of course. And I think also just being Canadian. He does a fantastic job of linking up with players, which is a big thing that I think Arne Slot is looking for in his next forward. I don't think he is a starting forward for Liverpool, but I think the goals and the assists that he could potentially bring in a rotation role and coming off the bench would fill that gap of a departing, I think, Diogo Jota, which we will talk about in a second. My number one pick as the center forward in this new look Liverpool side would be Benjamin Sesko. I think he has it all and is on a resurgence a little bit in the latter half of this season. Started out pretty hot, died down a little bit, had a little bit of a disappointing Euros, but I think that was more of the side that he was in versus the talent that he has. And I think he'd be a fantastic alternative to an Alexander Isak if we do not get him. Big, tall, fast, nose for goal, and has the limitless potential. I know a lot of people will be like, he kind of reminds me of Darwin Núñez. Nah, I think he's giving me more of a Fernando Torres mixed with a little bit of an Erling Haaland type of vibe. If you do not know this kid, take some time to get to know Benjamin Sesko. My next pick would be Frankie de Jong. I know this sounds like this should be in the dream category or the far-fetched category, but actually it's not. And walk with me a little bit, okay? Before you come in the comments and you start cooking me up. I think de Jong is a fantastic addition to this midfield side, mainly because he brings that dimension of play that Slot loves to see in a deep lying midfielder. He can play in that position that Maka can play in that box-to-box 8. And then he can also be a holding 6, but ball progressing 6 like Ryan does into that position. I think he's a perfect addition to this team. Ryan is almost built in the same mold as Frankie, where he can break up play, absolutely majestic on the ball, and he barely gives it away. Why I think he's a great backup option is because he's a little bit injury prone, which means that he wouldn't have to play every single game. If Luis Diaz is looking for an exit, I think that is a no-brainer type of swap deal for Barcelona, who he's been heavily linked with for pretty much 2 summers now, where you get Diaz, you give us de Jong, and we get a world-class player, you get a world-class player in return. Now we're going to talk about the FSG picks, man. These ones are probably going to come out of left field. Some of them you're familiar with. The nature of FSG, who's in charge now with Hughes, some of the players that I think he would maybe look into. He does play a money ball type of style and did that with Bournemouth and has turned them into a competitive team like Gerald Hato. I think Hato is a solid assumption that we can kind of go off of where we're going to go with this transfer window. Young, dynamic, with tons of potential and can play in multiple positions. Herkes makes this list as well. And I know he's a little bit more expensive. He's in that $45 to $50 million range, but I can also see Bournemouth cutting Hughes a deal and a cut price kind of deal. That rumor refuses to go away, both Hato and Kirkes, and don't be surprised if we get both, where Hato deputizes that left-hand side when needed, but is more brought in as an heir to Virgil van Dijk in the center back position, which I think he can play very, very well. I also think that FSG will bring in a player like, or maybe even him, Karim Adeyemi. He's one that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, had a fire start to the season. I think he benefits more from being in a different system. And I think that potentially could be one that Arne Slot and Hughes look to bring in. Him and Johan Bakayoko. Johan Bakayoko is another pick for me, would be a fantastic heir to Mo Salah, which I think FSG will probably be looking for this transfer window if they're smart about it. Mo Salah is heading towards the end of his career. We don't know when the goals are going to kind of stop a little bit. Maybe they don't, but maybe the pace falls off and Mo becomes more of a rotation player. I don't think it will be a like for like replacement. I think they'll find someone that could potentially offset some of the goals and assists amongst other players. Hugo Larsson is going to be another one for me in the midfield. I think he's a perfect fit for this Liverpool side. He gives me De Jong vibes, but obviously much younger and could be a good rotation piece. He runs for days and is absolutely press resistant. Similar height as Ryan Gravenberch, has that Pogba-esque kind of style where you can't get near him, and he has a really, really good passing range. Chris Rigg is another one that I think could be on the docket for Liverpool. Liverpool love going after young, brilliant, talented players that maybe not a whole ton of people know about. I know Chris Rigg is a little bit more of a hotter name in England right now. I think he's a fantastic signing, fantastic talent, can play on that right wing as well. Also is a good box-to-box kind of midfielder, attacking midfielder more so, a little bit more, maybe in the mold of a Cole Palmer, and a low-risk, high-reward type of signing. Karim Konate is another one that plays for RB Salzburg. Karim Konate is a fantastic talent, one to look out for, and with our relationship with RB, I can see that transfer happening. He's another one that I think is a Sadio Mane type of vibe. Absolutely rapid, good eye for goal, and an absolute animal. Not maybe names that you maybe haven't heard in rumor mills. That's kind of the point. They're young, they have high upside and high resale value. Let's jump into what these 11s could potentially look like.
All right, boys, this is my ideal 11. We got Benjamin Sesko at the top of the key, baby. We got Benjamin Sesko at the top of the key. And then we got Mohamed Salah on the right-hand side, and then Cody Gakpo, who's been our second best player, I think, this season. Bringing Sesko into the mix of this front three, I think there isn't a front three that's better than ours in the Premier League. I'll be very honest. I think this midfield three also does help, right? Look at this, all 90 rated, beautiful. And I believe that. I think Liverpool have the best midfield three in the world right now, and I think it'll stay that way for a very long time, which why I think the De Jong transfer makes a whole ton of sense. We'll talk about that in a sec. We got Yerel Hato at the left-hand side with his idol VVD, and of course, Ibu Konate, who I think could potentially be a future captain for this Liverpool side. We got Connor Bradley, who I think is a generational talent, and that's why I'm okay with letting Trent go this coming summer, because I think Bradley is a special, special player. Alisson Becker, I think, keeps his position as Liverpool's number one, especially with the season that Gigi Marmardashvili had at Valencia. I think maybe he goes back out on loan, or he's Liverpool's number two, and comfortably Liverpool's number two as Callagher leaves. As for our bench and interchangeable players, Frankie de Jong comes into the mix there and can relieve Ryan Gravenberch of his duties when he needs it. And it's pretty much in the similar mold to Ryan, actually, which is pretty cool. And Ryan was heavily compared to Frankie when he was coming up. So I think that's a little bit of a no-brainer for me. I love having Jonathan David come off the bench. He would be a free transfer for us and could play in that center, that attacking midfield role, which we've seen him play for Lille before, but also is a fantastic false nine. And then we have Dean Howson, who I think you could rotate in for VVD when needed, who I think is a perfect heir to VVD. I think Lucho stays. Let's keep Lucho, baby. I know it was contingent on, Frankie de Jong going too, but he's in fine form, and he's never indicated that he wants to go anywhere, right? And same thing with Harvey Elliott. There's been a lot of rumors with Harvey Elliott coming in and out of the side, but I think Harvey Elliott stays in this Liverpool side. Hassan Diallo was one that I talked about before. Fantastic young player. I think he is a badass. And then we have Robbo there that can come in and swap out for Hato, and I think Kwanzaa comes in and is a swap for him. And then of course we got Curtis Jones, who has gone from strength to strength in recent weeks. The only one that we think about of how we're going to rotate is Connor Bradley, and I think Liverpool go to the academy for a right back. I don't think Liverpool goes shopping. I think Ramsey is still there, and I think Lucas Stevens is still there to potentially play a good deputy for them. So that's my 11. I think that's how it goes. All right, boys, and then this is the dream signings, man. If this is the front line, if this is the squad we're running with next season, I don't see very many people stopping us. We got Isak at the top of the key, baby, and wow. If this is the front line that we run with in this next season, it's gonna be a lot of problems for the Premier League with this midfield three, which I think goes unchanged. Hato at that left back, VVD, Kanate there in the mix, and then Frimpong as a right back. I know a lot of people say, Frimpong is more of a left or is a right winger. I don't give a damn. Put Frimpong in there. If we want to be honest, we could run a back three at times if we really, really want to be fair. And maybe we could put Hato, we can invert Hato that can play in the middle of a diamond here, right? And then we can move Frimpong all the way upfield. And we could play, Salah maybe off the shoulder of Isak. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. I'm thinking of the possibilities. And then Sabasli off the other shoulder of Isak. And then Gakpo running into the channel. Come on, y'all. Let me cook. That'd be the dream right there. Who's stopping this side? No one is. I'll be very honest. We got Baleba coming off the bench, who is going to be a world-class talent. We got Arda Güler, who could come in as an heir to Mo Salah and play in that role. We got Gordon also that's coming in that could deputize for Gakpo and potentially be a starter. I love Lucho staying in this side as well and potentially, coming in and deputizing a little bit on that left-hand side and in the middle as well. We got Dean Howson in the mix as well. We keeping Jones, baby. I'm a believer in Jones. All of a sudden, I was a Jones hater, but I believe in Jones now, bro. That's my dog. Ever since he fought for us in that Merseyside derby, he's at my favor, okay? We got Kwanzaa coming in, and then we got Bradley still being able to come in and develop, who I think potentially turns into a wide right winger or maybe even a wide left winger in the future. I think he has the attributes to do that, or maybe even a box-to-box central midfielder, which is he plays for his national team. So that's my dream signing. Let me know what you guys think. These are just some ideas that I'm kind of throwing out there right now. What do you guys think? Who's your dream 11? Which one of these do you think happened? Am I crazy? Am I talking too soon? Make sure you guys comment down below. I appreciate everybody who's done that previously, and we will see you on the next one. We got Liverpool coming up in Champions League football, so I'm definitely going to be doing a preview and a review of that. So appreciate all of you. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Unconformed. Join the club, baby. Join the Discord. Show us some love. Leave a like on the video for your boy. I'm trying to go full time in this thing. I need your guys' help. So appreciate you. See you soon. Peace.